Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about English pronouns. By the end of this lesson you should be able to explain the function of a pronoun in a sentence, use nominative, objective and possessive case pronouns correctly, use demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these and those, correctly use reflexive and relative pronouns, and lastly, you'll be able to use indefinite pronouns. So let's start with a logical question. What are pronouns? Pronouns are words that substitute a noun or another pronoun. Examples of pronouns are he, she, who, and themselves. A personal pronoun refers to a person or thing. Here are the types of pronouns. Subject pronouns. These are also sometimes called nominative pronouns and include I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Object pronouns. These include me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. Possessive pronouns. These include mine, yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs. Demonstrative pronouns. This, that, those, and these. Reflexive pronouns, or sometimes intensive pronouns. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, and themselves. Relative pronouns. Who, which, that, and whose, and indefinite pronouns, everybody, anybody, somebody, everyone, and anyone, etc. Pronouns have three cases. The first is nominative or subjective, the second is objective, and the third is possessive. Let's start with a subjective. A subject pronoun, also called subjective or subject personal pronoun, is used as a substitute for proper and common nouns. Examples could be Jack is a doctor, he is a doctor, the laptop is on the desk, it is on the desk. A subject pronoun is used when the pronoun is the subject of the sentence. It indicates number, singular or plural, gender, male or female, person, first, second, or third person. The case depends on the pronoun's function in the sentence. A first-person pronoun is the one speaking. A second-person pronoun is the one spoken to. A third-person pronoun is the one spoken about. The following pronouns are subjective case pronouns, so you can use the subjective case when the personal pronoun is the subject of a verb. He sends email messages to a customer in Spain. I use the telephone frequently, but she prefers to use email. You can send an email message to many people at once. It is inexpensive to use email for communication. Next are objective case personal pronouns. The following pronouns are objective case pronouns. Have a look at the slide example. What are object pronouns? An object pronoun, also called objective pronoun, functions as the object of a verb or preposition, as distinguished from a subject or subjective pronoun, which is the subject of a verb. Examples are, he begged her to live with him. Her is the object of the verb begged, and him is the object of the preposition with. She told them the truth. Them is the object of the verb told. Object pronouns are used instead of object nouns, usually because we already know what the object is. For example, she's my friend, I really enjoy being with her. I like this film, I saw it last week. So use the objective case of personal pronouns when the pronouns are direct or indirect objects of verbs. Here are more examples. Megan asked her for a copy of the report. My friend gave him my email address. The email security presentation impressed Naberto and me. Use the objective case when personal pronouns are the objects of prepositions. I received 2 email messages from her today. Michelle spoke to us about internet scams. Megan sent the email attachment instructions to Leo and him. The next case are possessive case personal pronouns. Possessive pronouns indicate ownership. So the following pronouns are possessive case pronouns. Use the possessive pronouns my, your, her, his, its, our, and their to modify the nouns that follow. These possessive pronouns function as adjectives in sentences. For example, his advice about avoiding email viruses was valuable. We prefer to email our company newsletter. Change your password by Friday. Do not use the possessive pronouns mine, yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs as modifiers before nouns. These pronouns stand alone and are separated from the nouns to which they refer. Examples could be, the responsibility is yours if an attachment with a virus is opened. His was the only email message that I read today. Now, demonstrative pronouns. What are demonstratives? Demonstratives are words that show which person or thing is being referred to. In the sentence, this is my brother, this is a demonstrative. The demonstratives in English are this, that, these, and those. However, there are also demonstrative adjectives. A distinction must be made between demonstrative adjectives or demonstrative determiners and demonstrative pronouns or independent demonstratives. A demonstrative adjective modifies a noun. This apple is good. I like those houses. This modifies apple, and those modifies houses. A demonstrative pronoun stands on its own, replacing rather than modifying a noun. This is good, I like those. This and those don't modify any nouns, but they stand alone and replace other nouns. Demonstratives differ according to distance, if something is near or far, or number, if it's singular or plural. Here are the main distinctions. This modifies or refers to singular nouns that are near to the speaker. That modifies or refers to singular nouns that are far from the speaker. These modify or refer to plural nouns that are near to the speaker. Those modify or refer to plural nouns that are far from the speaker. So this classification of pronouns designates specific people, places, or things, and when these demonstrative pronouns modify nouns, they function as adjectives. Let's look at some more examples. These are the messages that we received yesterday. We should have sent these messages this morning. Next are reflexive pronouns. What are reflexive pronouns? Reflexive pronouns are used when the object is the same as the subject. For example, in the sentence, he hurt himself, he and himself refer to the same person. Reflexive pronouns are also used for emphasis. In this case, they are referred to as intensive pronouns. For example, in the sentence, I spoke to the president himself, the speaker emphasizes that he spoke to the president personally, not somebody else. I always do my homework myself. Nobody helps me. He never does his homework himself. The teacher always helps him. In these examples, the reflexive, intensive pronouns can be removed without changing the meaning. Here is the list of reflexive pronouns. So, how do you use reflexive pronouns? Number 1. Reflexive pronouns are used when the subject and object refer to the same thing. For example, he blames himself for what happened. You might cut yourself. We will enjoy ourselves in the party. 2. Reflexive pronouns may be used as the object of a preposition. He made a cup of coffee for himself. He was talking to himself. She did the job by herself. 3. Reflexive pronouns are also used for emphasis. In this case, they are called intensive pronouns. Intensive pronouns can be removed without changing the meaning of the sentence. I met the king himself. The president himself announced the news. He sent the letter himself. Next are relative pronouns. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that introduces a relative clause within a complex sentence. In the example, Mike found the keys that he had lost. That is a relative pronoun which introduces the relative clause that he had lost. In English, the relative pronouns are who, whom, which, whose, and that. Relative pronouns are who, subject or object pronoun for people. They caught the lady who killed her baby. I know the man who you met. Which, subject or object pronoun. For example, I read the book which is on the table. I visited the town which you told me about. Next is which, referring to a whole sentence. They were unsuccessful, which is disappointing. Whom, used for object pronoun for people, especially in non-restrictive relative clauses, as in restrictive relative clauses use who. For example, the boy whom you told me about got the best grades in mathematics. That, subject or object pronoun for people, animals and things in restrictive relative clauses, who or which are also possible. I like the vase that is over there. And lastly, let's briefly look at indefinite pronouns. These pronouns refer to people, places, or things in a general way. Please have a look at the slide for more examples. So again, use an indefinite pronoun to refer to people, places, and things spoken about in a general way. Examples are, everyone needs an up-to-date email address book. Many are not deleting email messages from their inbox. Some think that the delete key permanently erases an email and that nobody will ever see it. So we've looked at pronouns, and I believe that we're ready for a few activities. Thank you.